Coming up this week, off-screen.
Pixar are back with Coco.
Liam Neeson is the Commuter.
Senor Spielbergo delivers the post.
Russian sci-fi has some attraction.
And Barack Obama faces the final year.
All those to come and more, off-screen.
This is Off-Screen. Off-Screen. With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off-Screen, the on-screen radio show.
Ooh, welcome to Off-Screen, I'm Van Connor.
I'm Kelly Needham.
Thanks for stepping in for me, Ms. Needham. It's been a very awkward and unusual week, but appreciated.
I am often described as awkward and unusual, so fits quite well.
That does fit you, yeah. So
you're supposed to say that is not you at all, Kelly.
It's not, absolutely not. I'm sorry. What was I thinking? No. So case is fine. It's all my fault that we've got you to fill in. So it's timing on my part. It was all due to a funeral. So yeah. Anyway,
sad.
So right, where shall we begin? We've got news to do. We've got box office top 5. We've got 5 amazing new movies to review. Well, yeah, amazing mostly.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah.
One of which I've seen.
One of which you've seen, and I think we both shed a tear over. And we won't say which. It stars Liam Neeson. So before we start then, should we have some film news? What should we... I tell you what. I know what film news we should absolutely start with.
Let's do it. Go on.
We'll talk about the most important film for a particular part of the world.
Okay.
The Emoji Movie. Have you heard this story?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay, right. So for 35 years, cinemas have been banned in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
This is absolutely true. They now have cinemas again. They've brought cinemas in to Saudi Arabia. What they've done, because they've not actually got physical brick and mortar cinemas, they've set up a sort of temporary one.
Right.
So people can, experience the magic of cinema without having to wait for actual... They're building like 300 or 3,000, I forget, new cinemas before 2030.
Wow.
And like Warner Brothers and companies like that and View, for instance, are all going over there now and like sizing up the lay of the land.
Nice.
The first movie made available to the general public in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was the Emoji Movie.
It feels to me like they don't want cinemas back, and so they're kind of going, here, have the Emoji Movie, and then you remember why we don't have cinemas.
I feel like there was an offer sent out like to all the film distributors, like what film could you send us? And Sony thought, we've got a chance to finally find an audience for this film. We'll give it to people who haven't seen a film in a cinema in 3.5 decades. They're sure to like this. They've got no frame of reference, and it's been a hit. It's been a box office triumph.
Well, is it only competing against itself, though?
Yeah. It really is. It has no competition, and so it's been a smash hit.
Only under those circumstances can I imagine that being a hit.
So that's it. So, congratulations, Sony. You finally found the audience for the Emoji Movie. Congratulations. Nobody saw that coming. That's the start. Have you seen it? Have you seen the Emoji Movie?
I have, unfortunately.
Right. What did you think of it?
Well, you know what I'm like. I like to torture myself with terrible, terrible films.
You and I do like a crap movie.
I do. I love a crap movie. Even I was bored.
Wow.
And I sit through some real crap.
You have seen some solid celluloid excrement in your years.
Indeed. How can you make a movie about emojis boring?
I know. I mean, the central character was the Met emoji, wasn't he? So I feel like that kind of summed up the movie in a weird way.
So.
I don't think it was the worst film I'd ever seen. It wasn't even the worst film I saw that week, I don't think. But
that says a lot about the films that week.
Doesn't it? I think it was my birthday as well. It was on my birthday we had the press show for the Emoji Movie, which is very strange.
What a gift.
I know, yeah.
I've heard a bit of film news. I don't know if you know more about it, because I want to know more.
Okay.
Apparently, there's a bit of a rumour that in the new Venom movie that Tom Holland might make a cameo.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't get.
I heard
thought
this
it wasn't
as well.
connected.
It's not. It can't be. And I don't see in a million years they wouldn't do it. And but, stranger things have happened. I don't think they will. I think it's just nonsense rumour mongering and
people trying to drum up people wanting to see it. I don't know.
I mean, obviously, everyone wants to see Spider-Man turn up in a Venom movie.
Yeah.
But, you know, you look at the careful way that they've staged Into the Spider-Verse, that animated movie that's coming out at Christmas, and the Spider-Man that actually appears in that, the Peter Parker that appears in that, physically more resembles Andrew Garfield than any other version of Spider-Man. That's got to be intentional.
I've genuinely tried to forget he was Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, well, I know.
I'd rather have emo Spider-Man.
I would love it if that was like one of the universes that this animated Spider-Man visits, because it's a timeline hopping animated film. It is the Spider-Verse, that's what it is. And I'm hoping that they have animated a version of Tobey Maguire to look like he did in Spider-Man 3, like that's a thing they drop in.
I hope so. It was my favourite Happy New Year gift this year. I don't know if I sent it to you, where it was emo Spider-Man.
I think you actually did. You absolutely did.
Amazing.
Because obviously I almost exclusively send Tony Stark gifts through iMessage.
That is true.
So that's just my go-to, because I think I have something like 60 of them stored, and I just use them for different occasions. I branch out for DiCaprio doing the toast as Gatsby.
Of course, yeah, the Gatsby.
Yeah, that's a classic. And also, it has so many functions. So we should probably do. Well, let's do some plugs, and then we'll do a review.
Do it.
Okay.
What are you plugging?
We're plugging our own podcast edition, because then we get more. You know, we get more news. We get
more me,
more you. We get more Moment of Cage, and
yay!
Yeah. Incidentally, by the way, I got a press release relating to Nicolas Cage the other day. Mm-hmm. Were you there when over Christmas we watched a trailer for a film called Mom and Dad?
Yes, I was the one that told you to watch it.
You did. Yes, you did. Thank you. It was you. Right, I love that. That was last week's Moment of Cage. Incidentally, was the you put your left foot in, you put your right foot in. Yeah. They sent the press release out. It finally has a UK release date, and it's going theatrical.
No.
It is. There's going to be a Nicolas Cage movie in cinemas again.
Remind me, who plays the mom?
Oh,
Selma Blair.
Selma Blair. It is Selma Blair indeed.
Oh,
because I think wasn't it 5? In fact, that's how we got onto the conversation, because I think I asked you, whatever happened to Selma Blair?
Possibly, yeah, because we watched the 90s film. What was it called?
Disturbing Behaviour?
No, Can't Hardly Wait.
Can't Hardly Wait. Yes, and Selma Blair was in it, and yes, that was
a great day.
That was a great day. We I think after you and John left that day, we watched a Disturbing Behaviour.
For anyone listening, we had a movie day.
We did. No, we had PJ. We had PJ day.
PJ movie day.
In which 6 of us gathered in my living room in pajamas and just consumed copious amounts of alcohol and every kind of food. We so overate.
Good. Highly recommend it.
And we watched just nonsense movies. We watched Geostorm, obviously.
That was a treat.
And we watched Can't Hardly Wait, because we had to vary the quality level a little bit. And and My Bloody Valentine 3D. That was how we ended the night. But
I missed that one. I'm sad.
Well, but yeah, Selma Blair in Mum and Dad. So they sent me a press release. It's going theatrical in the UK, and my first request was, please, please, please tell me there's an interview opportunity in this.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Can you imagine? That would be awesome.
I'd be tuning into that show.
Like, do you know, if I ever got the chance to interview Nicolas Cage, my first thing would be like, hey, Nick, can you do me a favour? Can you just take like 60 solid seconds and just whiz out some moments of Cage for us? Just say some bonkers things.
Or just 60 seconds of him screaming.
I would treat it like the cool movie voice guy on the Honest trailers. Like,
yes.
Can you say these random things for me, please?
You should take tweets.
I will. That's what we'll do. We'll
like
ask
that celebrities read mean tweets about him. So it's got to be about him. That would be amazing.
That would be insane. Okay, so podcast edition, get it on iTunes, get it on Acast, get it on whatever podcast platform you personally prefer. We're not fussy. We get the numbers either way. The numbers still count. So you listen to it however you want. There's more show. That's the point. Competitions, we got those as well. We got competitions up the wazoo, my dear.
Up the wazoo.
Up the wazoo. And we get everything from DVDs of Rough Night, Blu-rays of Wind River, and
I liked Rough Night. I recommend people.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
Okay, fair enough. And I'm told Girls' Night is better, but I've not had the pleasure. Yeah, I think I turned it off after 10 minutes.
Remind me, which one's Girls' Night?
Girls' Night is the African-American version of Rough Night.
Is it the one with the...
Jada Pinkett?
Yes. Oh, no, I've seen that too.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I liked it.
Is it any good? You liked it? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so onscreenfilm.com, go in the competition section, win some swag.
Very proud of you.
So proud of the amount of swag we give away. But so
should
in the meanwhile,
review something?
Let's review
something that I've seen.
We shall. What are we reviewing, Kel?
Coco.
Okay, Coco, which is the latest from Disney Pixar.
Yay.
as they're now called. And it is the story of Miguel, a young Mexican boy who dreams of being a musician, like his great-great-grandfather, Ernesto. Ernesto, played by Benjamin Bratt, because if you Google Latin sex appeal, what you get are just pictures of Benjamin Bratt. And I think that's the case.
I often Google that.
He's timeless, isn't he? Like,
He is. How old is that guy?
He's got to be in his 50s now.
Is he?
Well, Demolition Man was 93. He's in that.
Looks good, though.
That was 24 years ago. And he had to be in his late 20s, at least, in that.
I guess so. I like when he turns up on Modern Family.
Yes, he's always good on that. Anyway, so back to Coco.
Anyway, yes.
Young boy.
Miguel
wants to be a musician like his great-great-grandfather Ernesto, who he never met, and whose behaviour, having left his family to pursue fame and life as an iconic musician, going down in history as it were, saw his family ban music outright and commit themselves to the cause of shoemaking.
It's very footloose.
It is, isn't it? So Miguel finds himself accidentally sucked into the afterlife on the Mexican Day of the Dead and decides the only way he can get home is to track down Ernesto in the afterlife and use his familial blessing to actually transport him back to the real world. But wait, there's more. There's also a ghostly dog. There are certain family members who want their own things. Deceased family members who want their own things from him.
Yeah.
And there's, of course, his own pursuit of his musical dreams. We have a clip.
Are you all right, Niño? It's you. You are that boy, the one who came from the land of the living.
You know about me?
You are all anyone has been talking about. Why have you come here?
I'm Miguel. Your great-great-grandson.
I have a great-great-grandson?
So I loved this. You loved this.
Oh, I loved this.
God.
Let's not beat around the bush.
No, that's not. I will say, I do love it. I thought it was great. I had so much fun with it. I did cry a little at the end. I'm not going to lie.
Well, you'd have to literally not have a heart not to.
It was insane because the press show when it let out, it was just all of us like grown adults just like wiping tears away in the reception afterwards.
That makes me happy.
Yeah, and I will say though, I do think the second act of the film, I think, is a little baggy. I think it loses its way a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the third act kind of has a little bit too much plot by comparison. And you think you should have actually shunted some of this forward, I think. There's a little bit too much running around in the second act. I think the road movie aspect of it.
I guess, but I think that's like nitpicking.
That is,
it's like if you've got to have a criticism.
That's it. If you've got to have something.
Yeah.
I think the voice casting is tremendous in this. I think Benjamin Bratt is inspired, like casting. Well, not even inspired, kind of obvious. Like, Google Latin sex appeal. It's just pictures of Benjamin Bratt. But he does play this almost sort of Bruce Campbell-ish. He's like...
It is Bruce Campbell-ish.
That big square jaw and the iconic I am so great kind of performance. I liked Gael Garcia Bernal as well as and let's just say Miguel's companion on his journey.
Yeah.
Whose story I actually did surprise me. It did go into places I didn't quite think it would.
Yeah, it's actually probably the first Disney, Pixar, whatever film to actually surprise me and go, oh yeah, I didn't quite see that coming.
It does have a decent twist to it. And okay, that's pretty interesting. Good for them going there.
Yeah.
I quite like that. Alana Eubanks in there from Waiting, the screaming waitress from Waiting. I noticed she's in there. But it's all about the gorgeous visuals.
I was going to say,
it's stunning, isn't it?
Looks amazing.
And I think in the run, because I wasn't that excited about it ahead of time.
Me neither.
No, I think because I saw it and thought, I've already seen Book of the Dead.
It's exactly
Book of Life.
what I thought. Yeah, Book of Life.
I've seen Book of Life.
Yeah.
I've seen Del Toro's version. I don't need like Pixar's version as well.
Yeah.
And this is like directed by Lee Unkrich, who obviously is one of the the main Pixar guys these days.
Yeah.
And I think he's Toy Story 3. I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, it doesn't overlap with Book of Life at all, and I was quite impressed with that.
Do you know, I turned Book of Life off.
I liked it. It had that wonderful mariachi Radiohead sequence.
It was cool, but I got bored. After I was over the kind of, this is a cool way to do animation, I was like, I'm not really that interested in the story, whereas Coco, I will watch it again now.
I know,
happily.
I know. And I just absolutely loved the way it all comes together. I think it's really clever, really inspired. I think it's actually kind of, it's quite sharp, even by Pixar standards. I still don't think it's quite as profound as something like Inside Out. which is, I think,
True.
is a very high watermark, I think, there.
You're not going to get much more deep, though, than feelings that have feelings.
Literal emotions. Seriously, do those feelings have their own internal, like, set of
I can only
emotions
assume.
and-
It goes on forever.
Yeah, it's like a hall of
Inception.
mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Coco, it's a win from me. I think it's a win from you as
Definitely.
well.
Go see it.
Absolutely.
Spend
see
all
this.
the monies.
Yes, spend all the pennies, take the kids, just go and take some Kleenex because you're going to weep at the end of this and it might destroy your children for a few days.
I need my own spirit guide after this as well.
Definitely. Also, very, very cute dog. Very cute dog character.
Dante.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back, Miss Needham. So, shall we proceed to this week's box office top 5?
Let's do it.
Number 5.
Insidious: The Last Key.
Which wasn't press shown. They didn't show this to critics.
Well, that tends to tell you something.
Well, it's weird with these films because and it's always with these micro-budget horror franchises. Like, they didn't show Jigsaw to critics.
Oh.
And they tend not to with these kind of films like Sinister, things like that. They just don't show them. And it's really strange because in this country in particular, we have a surprising number of mainstream film critics who, like myself, all like horror movies, all horror fans. I mean, Kermode, really? His favourite film ever is a horror movie. You're going to not show him horror movies?
Apparently not.
But yeah, so they didn't show us this one. I think that's kind of a shame because apparently it's meant to be like not bad.
Now remind me, Insidious, that's the one with the Darth Maul.
Yes,
type.
that was the first one.
Yeah.
And
I get confused between Insidious and Sinister as to which is which.
oh, I know. Sinister was the one with Ethan Hawke, where he was the writer and he moved into the house where there'd been murders.
Oh, where the guy and
Yeah.
he kind of looks like Jigsaw, but without the swirly.
He looked like
cheeks.
Nick Cave. He did look
Yeah.
like exactly like Nick Cave, which is why I couldn't take him seriously. So you had the one franchise with Darth Maul as the villain, and then one with Nick Cave, which, yeah.
Choices.
So has anyone seen it on Twitter? Because obviously we can't provide a review.
Lots of people have seen it on Twitter, and there's astounding reviews here. So we've got one here from at James Posey 3. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to censor myself here, so pre-warning. If you had any plans on seeing Insidious: The Last Key, don't. It was expletive trash. The worst one of the whole series. Waste of money and time. A few jump scares, but no real scary parts.
Oh, fair enough.
Twitter's getting longer, right?
It is.
Number 4.
The Greatest Showman.
Have you seen this, by the way?
Do you know, upsettingly no.
It does seem like the kind of thing you would have taken the time to have gone and seen. I'm shocked.
No, I was meant to see it over kind of the Christmas period, just didn't get around to it. I was really sick.
I quite liked it. And I'm in a minority amongst critics, but actual audiences who've seen it have all, like, there's a large percentage of them love it. And I've recommended it to, like, friends, real-world friends of mine who've gone and seen it and absolutely adored it.
Yeah.
And one friend, I actually just sent a YouTube link to one of the songs, went, right, just listen to that, and then you tell me if you want to see that movie. And she got back to me with it 3 minutes later, oh my God, that's the greatest song ever.
I've seen it already.
And it was
In
that
the last
song,
3 minutes.
This Is Me.
Do you know, I literally haven't looked at anything because I want to see it and I want to kind of be surprised by it.
There is a song, it's called This Is Me, and I really think it will win Best Song at the Oscars, Best Original Song at the Oscars this year. I'm genuinely convinced it has to win that. And it's from the guys who wrote La La Land's music, so you know, why not? But as far as the film itself goes, you know, Hugh Jackman, huge action. You know, he's a natural-born entertainer, perfect vehicle for him.
Yeah.
Zephron is, you know, the next up-and-coming Hugh
Love me
Jackman.
some Zephron.
And, you know, it's got a great cast. It's got, you know, Michelle Williams, Rebecca Ferguson. It's a great cast and a good time, I think. And it's just like being at the circus for 2 hours. It is just, you know, this giant, messy, you know, in-your-face, colourful, dancey, singy, you know, fun fair, you know.
What's Zendaya like in it? Because she's really kind of up and coming and all the big stuff now.
She actually gets saddled with probably the least interesting storyline in it, which is like this sort of interracial romance plot.
With Zephron.
With Zephron, naturally, of course. But the thing is that the film kind of like keeps going back. The film deals with this weird idea that, okay, these freaks are freaks. We're horrified by them. But we're really terrified by that interracial romance. And you're like, this doesn't fit. Like, this doesn't work at all. Like, pick one of the... Like, it seems weird that you're overlooking that to get to that. Like, if you want to treat them both equally, fine, but don't actually pretend that at the time, one was worse than the other. It was a very strange thing. But has anyone tweeted anything positive, negative? What we got?
Well, the majority of people on Twitter are just talking about the soundtrack, interestingly.
Yeah,
so
go figure.
To actually find a tweet about the film, I had to do a bit of digging.
Okay.
But I found this one. So this is at Justin_Tizzle. Congratulations on that, by the way.
That's good.
He says, all right, so I've seen The Greatest Showman 8 times.
Wow.
6 times regular and twice the sing-along.
I haven't seen
officially
Snowpiercer 8
obsessed. What?
We'll
We'll get back to that.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, he says, I'm officially obsessed and I love it. And then he's got 2 of the emojis that's like the rock hands.
Excellent.
Hashtag The Greatest Showman. So there you go. 8 times.
Number 3.
3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
I
Is that
love it.
The full time?
It is.
Seriously?
It is. I love this film so much. I saw this twice. I will watch it a third time. I think Frances McDormand needs the Best Actress Oscar for this. Absolutely. I think
Remind me who Frances McDormand is.
one of the Coen brothers' wives. She's in like Fargo.
Oh, okay.
She's the lady from Fargo. The script is razor sharp. The direction is terrific. The cinematography is astounding. It's funny. It's dark-hearted. It is moving. It's emotional. At one point, it's like just being punched in the face over and over. It is absolutely everything I look for in a film. And Sam Rockwell is terrific in it. Woody Harrelson is terrific in it. I think the less said about Abby Cornish in any film ever is probably for the best. But, you know, she's not in the film that much, so we'll get over it.
Does it have Patrick Stewart making poop jokes?
No, it does not. But, you know, I think we all know there's only one film in which you can go for that. But no, I absolutely, wholeheartedly recommend everybody needs to see 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. It is terrific. Does Twitter agree with me?
Twitter kind of does. I don't know, it's a bit half and half, I'll be honest with you, but the tweet that I've picked does. So, at Sophie Newt says 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, which takes up the entire Twitter account.
Yeah, of course.
Was such a refreshing film to watch, and I wish we could see films like this more often at the cinema. I highly recommend it, mainly to see Frances McDormand be an absolute badass. I need to get myself some overalls. I presume that'd make sense if I'd seen it.
The character almost exclusively wears overalls.
There you go.
Number 2.
Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
Now, I know you've seen this.
I have.
And I've seen this. I saw this twice, I think, in the end.
Nice.
I loved this. This was a good old-fashioned, thrill ride.
I'd quite happily see it again.
I think the casting is brilliant. I think the writing actually is surprisingly intelligent as well for the kind of film that it is, sort of dumb popcorn movie, but actually really smart writing. And the person who benefits the most from that writing, of all people in the world, is Jack Black.
Who'd have thought? He's actually really good in it.
Yes. Because that character is basically offensive. That should be offensive.
Yeah.
But it's actually really layered and nuanced and works.
Yeah.
And I think Jake Kasdan brings us a terrific sense of energy to it all. If there is a fault to be had in it, it's probably that the villain isn't really much of a presence, I don't think.
Yeah, that's true.
But does he need to be? Because the rest of the film is so entertaining anyway, you don't really think about it.
Yeah.
So, you got a tweet for me?
I do. So, at Gingeran says, Dear fellow gamers, I highly recommend seeing hashtag Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. It's wicked funny, and all us gamers will relate. And then she's put a gif in it that is, cake is my weakness.
Terrific.
Number 1.
Darkest Hour.
Which I think is vastly overrated.
This is the Churchill one,
This is
right?
the Churchill one. But here's the weird thing. It's exactly the same movie as Churchill. Like 6 months ago with Brian Cox, which was actually a better movie, but didn't have that sort of high concept performance at the centre of it. So basically, you can have the good movie or you can have the good Churchill performance, and basically you have to pick between those two. If you want the good Churchill performance, see this one. Even though I do think it's a little cartoonish. If you want the good movie, though, go and see Churchill instead, which, you can buy that on DVD now. But, I'll be honest, I personally would rather see Churchill again than ever see this again. But I think I think it's overly melodramatic and a bit mawkish at times. And
I find it interesting that we typically, with these kind of historical pieces, you tend to get too close together.
Yeah,
they're quite similar.
That's fair. I don't personally think Gary Oldman should be in serious contention for an Oscar for this. But it's a big bombastic performance, and the fact that it's under so much makeup obviously quite clearly attracts a certain gravitas, a certain prestige,
I suppose,
as it was. But no,
for suffering under all those layers of makeup.
It just wasn't for me. Is there a tweet on it?
There is. So we've got @Sargy7.
Okay.
And he says, loved At Darkest Hour. Superb filmmaking. Wasn't prepared for how moving it would be. Excellent acting and wonderfully shot. It's only 12 days in, but I feel I may have seen my film of the year. And then various different hashtags. Never
well,
surrender.
that's someone who hasn't seen 3 Billboards, clearly, because wow, vast contrast. So we were meant to have a piece of news, but we're running behind. So shall we just move on to the next review?
It's me chatting too much. Let's do it.
It's probably me, actually.
What are we reviewing?
Let's talk about The Post.
Let's do it.
Which is the latest from Senor Spielberg.
Senor Spielberg.
And this unites the power, the triumphant of the trio of power that is Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep. Right.
Good grief.
So you think on the back of that, this has got to be the ultimate movie, clearly.
Surely.
Got to be.
Surely.
So, it's not. It's not the ultimate movie. It's all right. It's pretty good.
What's it even about?
Right. So it is about the Pentagon Papers. It is about the whistleblower who made available to the press the actual confidential report analysing what actually was going on behind the scenes, as regards the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War.
Okay.
And just certain policies and certain attitudes that the government really did not want going public. And the way that this found its way into I think it was the New York Times and then to the Washington Post afterwards. The New York Times found themselves taken to court over it by the government.
Right.
And the Washington Post, who were then a fledgling sort of local paper, not like what they are now, this is kind of what made their name, they faced the decision, should we run the story? Because, they're tied up. There's nothing stopping us. The window's wide open. Let's do it. And it's about whether or not they should. It's about whether or not they should, and whether or not they even can at times.
And should they? And could they?
Should they? Well, sorry, let's have a clip.
It's not the full report, but it's over 4,000 pages of it.
Huh. Are these in order?
I don't think so.
There are no page numbers.
Yeah, that's where the top secret stamps were. My source had to cut them off.
We're supposed to retire on Friday.
Ben, how are we supposed to comb through 4,000 pages?
They're not even loosely organized.
The Times had 3 months. There's no way we can possibly
He's
get this
right. We got less than 8 hours.
We could shoot for city, then we'd have 10.
Hey, for the last 6 years, we've been playing catch-up, and now thanks to the President of the United States, who, by the way, has taken a all over the First Amendment, we have the goods.
So, I think was it last year that Spotlight was out? I can't remember that.
Surely that was...
Was it last year or the year before?
Must have been year before.
So, I loved Spotlight. I thought
Me
Spotlight
too.
was absolutely terrific. And I think as far as a contemporarily made, not set, noticeably, journalism movie goes, I think that's hard to beat.
It was a really good film.
And this kind of proves that, yes, Spotlight does indeed cast a long shadow, because you watch this and you think, oh, I feel like Spotlight's subject matter kind of just added so much more of an emotional darkness to proceedings.
Yeah.
This really does feel like, you know what? Let's just stand around and talk about the ethics of journalism and truth and power and corruption. And it really is a prestige piece. It's this prestige. It's handcrafted for Oscar glory kind of thing.
I was going to say, performance-wise, are we...
Performance-wise, the performances are great. The performances are great. How are they not going to be? They're never not going to be great.
I don't know.
Hanks gets that requisite level of charm in there that he always does. Streep is Streep. She's Streep. She's streeping her way through this.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's going to win the Streep Award for streeping in a Streep picture. That's how this works, and it's every inch. I think they could have made a little bit more of the sort of feminism aspect of that character.
Interesting.
And but the actual storyline that she has, which is about a woman finding her place in a man's world later in life rather than at a younger age. I think that's actually something interesting, but I would have liked to have seen more made of that. Surprisingly effective performance in a dramatic sense from Bob Odenkirk, who plays Saul in Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's in there. And obviously we think of him as being a comedic actor. Here it's pure drama, and it kind of proves that old adage that, comedians do make great dramatic actors. The Robin Williams equation. Comedians do make for good drama.
I always think of Bryan Cranston.
Well, this is the thing, because I don't really consider Bryan Cranston a comedian. I know he obviously started Malcolm in the Middle for like a decade. But
that's it, that's the...
And Seinfeld, obviously. But yeah, I think of him nowadays as a serious actor, because he didn't really do comedies outside of, why him? But...
let's not talk about that.
No. Obviously, Spielberg brings the precision game, always does. But the thing is, it just feels like he's not particularly not energetically involved in this. It does feel like a very standoffish piece.
It feels like an odd subject matter for Spielberg. I don't know.
Not so much in one sense, because you look at the people who are making this film. You look at Spielberg, you look at the producers, you look at John Williams doing the score, and this is a movie set in 1971. And you think it's funny that all these people were working together at that time. So it's
a nostalgia piece.
Yeah, these are guys who literally lived and worked through this, so it makes sense, obviously, from that standpoint. It's very well made. It's just, you do feel like the problem is with the script, and it's a first-time writer who's not really written anything else. It does feel like the script needed more of a hook. It needed more to invest in, I think. And that's really it, because the performance is there. The direction is there, if a little weakly. The music is terrific, because when does John Williams ever phone it in? And the production design of it is terrific. You absolutely believe this 70s. It's not the garish Austin Powers 70s that we always get, where, look, we could do the hairdos now. It's not only like that. It is a genuinely believable version of the 70s. I think the problem is that script. I think as a result of that, this is the weakest that I've seen of this year's Oscar crop. I think it's by far and away the weakest one on the Oscar ladder for me this year.
So is it worth a watch? Is it worth a wait till it comes out on DVD type watch?
I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, because it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good, and it's pretty good because of the caliber of people in there. But, I mean, it's fascinating to watch just for the old style of journalism, like how they used to make newspapers and stuff. It's fascinating to watch. And there's a shot of Bob Odenkirk sat at a typewriter as the paper goes to print, like three floors below him, and the building actually shakes, and the camera holds on him, and it's an absolutely staggering shot that you think, wow, I feel like Spielberg literally crafted this entire movie just so he could do that.
Nice.
And if he did, fair play, because it was a damn fine shot.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back, Ms. Needham. So, should we check in on Barack Obama? That's always fun.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the final year, which is this quite intriguing documentary, and certainly a documentary you couldn't make again now, because you literally couldn't film this with their Trumpian counterparts, because it would be a very, very different
see what you mean.
So it literally chronicles the final year of the Obama presidency, and it specifically follows certain key members of that administration. So one such figure is Suzanne Power, for instance. Samantha Power, Suzanne Power. John Kerry as well.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Ben Rhodes. And, of course, Obama himself. And it chronicles those final 12 months, although it does seem to take a bit of a jump in the middle of it, chronicling how they intend to spend their final year in office, and also, then ending up with how they actually spend that year. And for obvious reasons of, history, the final 6 weeks of that presidency, I think you can imagine, are quite emotional, with a sense of doom hanging over them. So we have a clip.
I had a chance to say hello to that gentleman who had survived the war, who had taken the time to find families of American POWs who had also died, insisted that their names be enshrined, that they were recognized, and to see how much a moment like this meant to him. It's ultimately where politics, government, diplomacy has has to be rooted.
This is, I believe this is HBO, or it's made for like a US TV network. Excellent documentary, though.
Nice.
Really punchy, to the point. It casts its subjects in a relatively unbiased light. They are surprisingly objective about themselves. It's one of those films, though, that you do kind of look at and think, you got lucky in the sense that you literally, I don't think, could have made this particular documentary about any other president.
Yeah.
And the film, whether it means to or not, certainly perpetuates the myth of, the myth, reality, whatever you want to see, of Barack Obama as this Christ-like figure in the Oval Office. That, oh my God, he's so one of the good guys. There'll never be another like him. He is iconic. And to be fair, like, the film allows you to absolutely wallow in and bask in and just enjoy that sensation at different times. There are points where it does verge on sort of sycophancy.
I was going to say, are we talking? I mean, I know you said that they talked objectively about themselves, but is there an agenda?
Not so much. I mean, there's a moment in it that I actually think is genuinely terrific, and it's a moment in which Ben Rhodes, talking to camera, says, "Oh, I hate when they ask us these certain questions, because they ask us like, which is the bigger threat, climate change or ISIS?" And they want us to say climate change because then they can just imply that we're weak against ISIS and we don't care. But in reality, climate change is probably going to kill us first. And you think, okay, that's a surprisingly poignant moment. Where it does get obviously really deep and moving is in, obviously after November of that year, when it's officially that Trump is going to be the president. And the way that the election night thing is presented to us is through Samantha Power, and she watched those election results come through in a room with Madeleine Albright and Gloria Steinem and all these powerful women figures.
Wow.
Powerful women, and they're all watching it because they were so certain.
What a moment!
And you watch these the earth-shattering female power figures just absolutely have the bottom pulled out of their world, and it's really moving and really something you can't imagine anything like it. And the atmosphere in that room really does come through. Then the way in which different members of the administration are presented as handling the news that Trump is going to be the president. I mean, particularly Ben Rhodes, who has to just go outside and just sit in silence.
Have a moment.
He does.
I think a lot of people could probably relate to that.
There is a lot of that, and just the way that Obama himself, presents his view on the world. And he talks about like when he tours the world, he likes to just go and visit historical sites, and he makes a very articulate point about we live in a world in which we're just looking for the next thing. It's always about the next tweet. It's always about those next figures. It's always about what am I doing 5 minutes from now. We really just don't stop and look around. And I like to sit and bask in history and these monuments and these places of cultural significance and just look around and take it all in. And it's a really sort of powerful moment from this iconic figure of history himself.
Yeah.
And you think it's kind of weird, Barry, that you kind of are the thing you're talking about, but okay. No, I really, really enjoyed it. I did wind up seeing it twice.
What?
I wound up seeing it twice because I went to an evening screening of it.
Yeah.
And then forgot I'd seen it. I then arranged to go to the actual week of release screen, the actual press show, and I'd forgotten that was the film I'd seen in the evening screening the week earlier.
How far did you get through it where you suddenly realised, oh, I've already seen this?
Yeah, it was about 2 minutes. About 2 minutes, I'm like, oh, it's this one, but it's okay. It was a good one. I'll see it again.
Nice.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it's an absolutely tremendous documentary. Greg Barker's done quite a stylised, very interesting job putting it together. It's got an energy. It's got a feel of momentum to it. I do think it annoyingly hops over, I think, what feels like at least a good 6 months of this final year. Kind of shows you the beginning of the year and the end of the year. Doesn't really do much in the middle. But, maybe they had a long summer holiday.
I was going to say, maybe they didn't do anything.
No, maybe. So, have you got a piece of film news for me real quick?
Well, apparently, even though, we've already had the last Saw, and then we had, Jigsaw, we needed another Saw. So there's rumours that this would be number 9?
It would be it'd be the 9th. It'd be the 9th. Yeah, Saw 7 was Saw 3D, and then Jigsaw was number 8.
Yeah.
Go for it, I say. Why not? I mean, these films make a godly amount of money, and they cost very little. So why not? I mean, the story's still engaging. If you've been a fan of them, you probably still are.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few in the middle where I just start to get confused about characters and they look alike to me. And
Saw
all this
4
kind of
is
stuff.
a dumpster fire. Saw 4 is just the absolute worst. I hate
I
it.
could not tell you which one that is. I've no idea.
I'm not sure. I think Saw 4 is the one that happens concurrently with Saw 3.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think that's what's going on in that one. But like Saw 5 onwards, I think it's genuinely terrific. John Nottingham and I used to have it when we were at uni as an actual tradition. Every year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every year he and I would go out, get drunk, and go and see the new Saw movie.
The new Saw.
It was weird. You want to get messed up and go and see Saw? Yeah, totally.
See Saw.
Yeah, that's it. Every year, like clockwork. We used to love it. So let's review. What we've got to review next? Are we going to do Attraction next?
Let's do
Attraction?
it.
Okay,
Why
so
not?
Attraction is... I'm actually really excited to talk about this one. This is a Russian science fiction film. It's directed by... I'm trying to remember his name. It's directed by Fedor Bondarchuk. Bondarchuk. Who directed Stalingrad a couple of years ago, and not a huge hit over here, but it's
Stalingrad. I feel like it's familiar.
You might remember because it was a historical Russian epic about the Battle of Stalingrad, released in IMAX.
Ah,
That was the thing. That was the whole marketing shtick of it. It's a Russian movie in IMAX.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing. It's one of a number of Russian films that are actually, I think it's the fifth one to actually be converted into the IMAX, upscale to the IMAX format. And wow, they picked a good one to do this with. Okay, so basically, E.T. meets Twilight. That's the movie.
What?
That's literally the movie.
No, you're going to have to say a bit more.
Okay. So it's about a spaceship appears.
Yeah.
Over Russian skies. They mistakenly shoot it down. It takes out a good chunk of this district.
Yeah.
And in the middle of it is a rebellious teenage girl and her gangster boyfriend, sort of hoodlum boyfriend. And they happen upon a survivor of this wreckage.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember his name. It begins with H. It is Hitchkin? I want to say Hitchkin. Hicken. Okay, I don't know. I'm no good with foreign language names. I'm terrible, but which is kind of amusing given my background. But so, and what happens then is the gangster boyfriend obviously soon turns on them, wants to basically make an example of this alien. It's xenophobia in practice.
Yeah.
She runs away and basically hides him, shows him human culture, and romance blooms because why wouldn't it?
Does he sparkle?
He doesn't sparkle, no, but they have these sort of exoskeleton suits. It's really cool, very District 9 kind of a thing.
Does he carry her on his back and run through the forest in such an enchanting way that you have to rewind it and watch it again?
No, I can honestly say he does not do that. I will say though, there's some serious spectacle to this. Apparently it was made for a ridiculously small amount of money, like 5 or 10 million.
Oh wow.
And you see the film, you're like, my God, this is Hollywood mega blockbuster level effects.
Is it CGI or is it
actual massive scale CGI, but really believable, convincing? There is literally a battle sequence in this with humans versus mechs, men in massive alien power suits. And you're looking and thinking, how the hell have you done this for this amount of money? It's insane. It does also have this ridiculously catchy theme song that just sounds like it was made by Imagine Dragons.
I really want to watch this film now.
You really should. It's so good. And it's got a verve, it's got an energy. It's just an awesome movie. And I bought the song before I even left the screening room. I literally I Shazammed it on the end credits.
Nice.
Literally Shazammed it and then bought it from Apple Music before I left the room.
Excellent.
God bless technology. But yeah, absolutely terrific movie. But like I say, E.T. meets Twilight is the best way to pitch this. And it's very much, it feels like the Russian answer to films like Twilight and Divergent and the YA craze. In that we've got sort of sexy 20-ish.
There's always a romance. There's always a triangle. Usually with one girl and two guys.
Absolutely.
There you go. Classic YA.
It's also very funny as well. I was quite impressed by the way it handled its humour. It's not too on the nose. It's kind of witty. It's very snarky. I like that about it.
I'm presuming it's subtitled.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely subtitled. Yeah, it's a Russian language movie with subtitles. It's not a very distancing thing at all because the story's kind of absorbing. So definitely check this out. If you can get the chance to see this
In IMAX.
and I'll tell you what, I've actually got the screening link. I will
Send
share
it to me.
I will share the screening link with you because for the purposes of review, I'm sure they won't mind. But you got to watch it. It's so, and seriously, like, I'll look up the exact amount. I'm sure it's like 5 million. Right, you watch this film and you tell me how much it looks like it was made for, and it looks like $150 million.
Well, clearly, the people in the US and the UK are spending far too much money.
They really are.
Very inefficient.
Apparently in Russia, the buck goes a lot farther.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
Back for one last ride, Ms. Needham. So, you gonna news me up? What you got?
Well, apparently, the Fantastic Beasts sequels, they're all going to be set in a different city across the world. It's very global, very inclusive.
Okay, fair enough. Why? Because Johnny Depp needs to take his dogs to new and increasingly strange
Well, apparently,
places.
yeah, he needs to offend more than one country.
Well, it turns out he actually doesn't need to go anywhere to offend anyone anymore. It turns out he just has to show up.
True.
But
That's very true. It's been a scandal.
But,
so yeah, apparently the next one's going to be in Paris.
Yeah, I did hear that, and that's because like it's set in the 20s. I mean, of course you got to do Paris, haven't you?
Of course.
But I don't know. I feel like the American stuff in the last one was kind of a bit forced, to be honest. But
Well, I don't know whether this setting it in different cities is a kind of a response to that of, it was in America because actually we're trying to expand the universe of Harry Potter and it is all over the world.
So they are literally world building at this point. That's it.
Quite literally.
I mean, you can sell it where you like, love. It's just not going to be interesting. No one's genuinely interested in these movies. Anyone who tells you they are is lying.
Let's be fair, Van. There's a lot of people who want to see these movies.
Oh yeah, they are. But those are the kind of people that think that J.K. Rowling's an amazing writer. Swings and roundabouts.
Oh, God, you're going to be offending lots of people.
I'm just saying, she's the natural successor to Dan Brown.
Oh.
You know?
Oh.
She basically writes airport novels that caught on. Anyway,
Van, we're going to do a review now. We're going to move away from this topic.
All right. I'm sorry. I'll stop slating Harry Potter.
Tell me all about the Commuter.
Oh, God, this one. Okay, I knew nothing of this. Didn't know a thing.
I know nothing of it now.
Right, okay, I didn't know a thing. Hadn't seen a trailer. I just saw that poster, which is literally Liam Neeson stood in front of a train. And so I was seeing, and I was excited to see this.
Oh, I do know which one it is. Yep,
yeah.
go on.
I was so excited to see it, based entirely on it's Liam Neeson on a train. And you're like, okay, that's got to be awesome. Like, I mean, the worst that could possibly be is non-stop. That's like the level.
That's pretty bad, though, to be fair.
Yeah, but if the worst it's going to be is non-stop, I'm fine with that. Weirdly, this actually does share a director with non-stop.
I'm shocked.
Yes, so Wamkole Sarah directs this. Also directed The Shallows last year. Blake Lively versus a shark.
Ugh.
But and this is where you start to notice something that I'll get to when we actually do the review bit. It is the story of a 60-year-old insurance salesman, played by Liam Neeson, who happens to be an ex-cop. Because
With a certain set of skills.
With a certain set of cop skills. And every day, he, imaginatively enough, commutes to work. Because it's not just a clever title.
Say what?
I know, the title didn't give that one away at all. And one day, he's on his way home from this job. He's had a bad day. He's been made redundant, effectively.
Ooh, bad times.
And he is approached by Vera Farmiga from the Conjuring movies.
Love her.
Who just plays sultry villainess so well. And she sits down and, well, we have a clip.
What if I asked you to do one little thing? Would you do it?
I'd want to know what kind of thing.
Does it matter?
Well, I think it does.
And you would never know the consequences of what you did?
Then why would I do it?
Because there would be a reward.
So, what's the reward?
In the bathroom, carriage 2, maybe there is a package. It's hidden. And inside that package is $25,000.
So there you go. You have to find someone on the train and get the rest of the money. If not, bad things will happen. So if you've accepted the money, bad things will happen. The first 2/3 of this are they kind of confirm what Wamkole Sarah's whole shtick is at this point. Wamkole Sarah seems to be setting himself out to basically be, I am the 21st century multiplex attempt to be Hitchcock. even though I have none of his directorial skill. I'm directing action
Fake
movies.
it till you make it, man.
Yeah, I'm directing action movies, but in my mind, I'm Hitchcock. And it really shows this, because the first 2/3 of this movie play like a movie like Phone Booth did, or in the case of Wam Kale Sarah ones, movies like, big capsule thrillers, as they were. Things like The Shallows, things like Non-Stop, where it's a very confined space, and bottle episodes, as it were. And I'm
Buried, stuff like that.
Buried very much, and I'm all for that. I think Liam Neeson obviously has a pretty established working pattern with Kale Sarah, and it shows, because there is a deft confidence to this that. For me, it kind of falls apart in the third act when it then decides, right, now we're going to be a schlocky action movie. And you think, okay, so all the Hitchcockian suspense is gone right out the window. We're going with the whodunit, which we kind of all predicted right at the beginning of the movie anyway, because I've seen a movie. And, there's a lot going for it. There's a surprisingly effective cast in there. There's a lot of up-and-comers in it as well.
Who else is in it? Because I've seen the trailer, but it's just Vera and Liam.
Right, so there's Jonathan Banks from Breaking Bad is in there. Mike, who's the cop, Mike in Breaking Bad.
I don't know names.
Right, he's in there. I wouldn't say he's an up-and-comer, but he's just someone you love when you see him. Florence Pugh is in there, from Lady Macbeth. The star of Lady Macbeth, whom I'm obsessed with. I think she's amazing, and I want to see her in every film ever. But she's in there. Shahzad Latif from Star Trek Discovery.
Still not watched it.
Yeah,
it's on my list.
You absolutely must. It's gotten brilliant. Like, the second half is admittedly way better than the first, but still. Shahzad Latif from Star Trek Discovery is in there. He's great too. There's a lot of Patrick Wilson from the Conjuring.
What?
So both Conjuring, both halves of the couple in the Conjuring are in this movie.
Nice.
Also Sam Neill. Sam Neill's in there as well.
There you go.
Yeah. Absolutely worth seeing. But do prepare for the fact that the final third is going to drop the ball significantly and get a lot dumber. And also,
I like a dumb film, though. You know me.
The thing is, as a consequence of doing the dumb action stuff, what they have to do is they have a fantastically shot, unbroken, single take fight, single shot fight sequence between Liam Neeson and some guy.
Another.
Another, yeah. Victor Illen, as it were.
I see what you did there.
See what I did there? Victor. So he fights Victor Illen, and it's this one unbroken shot, and it's fantastic. Really good, although it's so brilliantly excessive and like Raid-like that you sit there at a point and think, hang on a minute, this guy spent like 10 years as an insurance salesman. Does this mean that for a decade the city of New York has had amongst its denizens this insurance salesman with the ruthless martial arts abilities to absolutely destroy entire buildings full of people without breaking a sweat?
Well, I'm telling you, the insurance business is a dangerous one.
Yeah, you wouldn't turn down that insurance salesman, would you? But it's not perfect. Even when it's good, it's not great. There's some very amateurish writing in there. In the first 15 minutes, I counted 4 references to the fact that Liam Neeson's character and he himself were Irish. They keep referencing the fact that he's Irish. It's like, you ever see that movie Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland?
Yes.
It stars Amy.
Long time ago.
Yeah, has Amy Smart. 2007, 2008. Has Amy Smart in it as well. And every time that those two share a scene, Kiefer Sutherland has to reference the fact that she is his sister.
Yeah.
You're like, we get it. We get it. She's not the love interest. We understand how films and families work. We're humans. We get that. It's fine. They do that here with him being Irish.
Is he actually? So is he Irish as in Irish American, or he's actually just Irish?
He's actually Irish. He's come from Ireland.
Well, at least they've not done what they try and do with Gerard Butler and still pretend that he's American.
What, you mean like London Has Fallen, where he's a Scotsman playing an American in London, filmed in Bulgaria?
Exactly.
Yeah, love that. One of my favourite things ever. But,
is The Commuter your film of the week?
It is not my film of the week.
Thank God for that.
Well, I think we both know that Coco has to be the film of the week. But I want to single out Attraction as well. I think Attraction is really something that should be seen. And if you somehow get the chance to see this in IMAX, absolutely do, because it deserves it. It's really something. E.T. meets Twilight, but Coco is fantastic.
It's all about the Coco.
Remember Me. That song sticks
It's
with
been
you.
stuck in my head.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely one that's got to go on the playlist.
I do actually. I wish there were more songs in it. I feel like there could have been more songs, more iconic songs. Anyway,
actually, yeah, it's surprising for like a musically themed Disney movie. Like, actually, surprisingly, not much of a musical.
Yeah.
So, shall we have a look ahead at next week? What we've got coming up?
Tell me.
Well, next week, first and foremost, is Maze Runner: The Death Cure. Next week.
Finally!
For those like 4 or 5 fans that series actually has.
It's still got them?
I think there must be 4 or 5 people. Andy Meekin's a mutual friend, actually. He seems to be a fan, although I suspect he's being a contrarian about it, to be annoying. Aardman are back next week with Early Man. Which is...
I just know it from those adverts on TV, furniture adverts.
Yes, I know the ones. But it's got good voice casts like Eddie Redmayne and Tom Hiddleston. And,
I really hope Eddie Redmayne's doing a Jupiter Ascending, whatever it's called.
Was it? I create lives and I destroy them.
Take it away.
Yeah. We've got miniature Matt Damon next week in Downsizing.
Ooh, looking forward to that.
Yeah. We've also got 12 Strong, Chris Hemsworth's movie about the horse soldiers after 9/11. But that's.
I went through a roller coaster of emotions then as you were describing
You did. It was actually really great to sit and watch. We've got The Nothing Factory, which I don't know an awful lot about, to be honest. And Last Flag Flying is next week, which is your boy Cranston.
Nice.
And Steve Carell and Larry Fishburne in there as well. And it's the new Richard Linklater movie is about 3 former soldiers who I think they go on like a pilgrimage for a former comrade who's died.
Nice.
But it does look interesting, and it's Linklater, so I know Case will be obsessed with it. But so we've got all those to come and more next week off screen. In the meanwhile, thank you again for joining me, Kels.
Thank you for having me.
It is vastly appreciated. In the meanwhile, this has been a Candy Store production On Screen. I've been Van Connor.
I've been Kelly Needham.
And we shall return.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Off Screen. For more news and reviews, visit onscreenfilm.com.
Okay, cut. That's a wrap.
Podcast extras.
Woo woo.
So, you just pointed out the story about the Flash, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange.
Well, this is the thing. People are calling it's the Flash film. It's Flashpoint. The film is Flashpoint, and it's going to be a really schlocky thing where DC uses Warner Brothers and DC use it as an attempt to try and spin off and rejig their clearly failed cinematic universe experiment.
So is it going to be Ezra Miller?
It will be Ezra Miller, but the whole point of that story. I mean, do you know what Flashpoint is?
No, I've no
because
idea.
it's been done in the actual TV series now. So
I gave up on that.
I know you did, but because there's a whole audience now who now know what Flashpoint is, who wouldn't have before from the comics.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is, Flash discovers that he can actually travel through time. Because he can actually
running fast.
Well, he can run faster than the actual force of causality and reality.
Right.
Literally, he can outrun time itself.
So can he go forwards and backwards?
Yes. Yeah, he can go forwards and backwards in time. And in the story of the original comics, which has actually been adapted as a pretty interesting animated film now, he goes back in time and he saves his mother from being murdered. And it's... Oh no, she I think she dies in a car accident, I think, originally. In the series, obviously, she's murdered.
Yeah.
And him doing that, obviously, radically changes the timeline. He, goes on a little journey, has to go back. It does a whole Back to the Future 2 thing where he has to go and fix it. But
and have his mum killed?
Yes.
Oof.
Yeah, it's dark. Isn't it? But a consequence of him doing that is, even when he fixes it, history is changed. And in the DC comics use this as an excuse to change certain things they didn't like about characters.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Very convenient.
Very. So in the case of the series, the actual villain put his plan into motion because of the things Barry had done, Barry had changed.
Yeah.
So for instance, in the series, one of the main characters who was human to begin with was now a metahuman, had powers as a weird consequence of Barry having changed history.
It's all very convenient to me.
Actually, the series is fantastic. The series is so good.
Yeah.
But, the movie's going to suck. Because he's an absolutely terrible Flash. Ezra Miller is an awful Barry Allen.
I'm not sure I could sit through 2 hours, which no doubt it would be, of him.
Can I just point out, there's a film critic I enjoy watching on YouTube, Movie Bob.
Movie Bob?
Movie Bob. Big fan
Shout
of Movie Bob. He's got a video in which he plots what he would do if he was the guy in charge of the Flashpoint movie. And which quite clearly they're going to just ditch everything that the DC universe has done except Wonder Woman, because apparently Gal Gadot will be appearing as Wonder Woman in the film.
Okay.
Also, there's a whole thing about that, but I'll get there. Movie Bob did a video in which he plotted out his own version of that movie, and it's genuinely brilliant. I would watch that movie. But now it's like
they can't do that because he's done his little plot out thing.
We shall see. We shall see.
But anyway, that's not the news.
That's not the news. The news is he has directors.
Apparently so.
It's going to be directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Goldstein and Jonathan Daly.
John Francis Daly.
John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein.
He did Waiting, right?
Yes, he was the guy whose first day it was.
The little dorky guy.
Yeah.
Is he in Bones?
Yes, he's in Bones. He's sweet. He's sweet in Bones. Yeah. He's become a writer in recent years. The pair of them. They wrote Horrible Bosses. They wrote Horrible Bosses 2.
Yeah.
They wrote Vacation. They wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming as well.
No, did they?
Yeah.
There you go.
So it was they, because they were the
switching sides.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they've got serious. I mean, they're clearly going to be big. These two. I mean, the stuff they can do. I mean, Homecoming is so good. I absolutely love. I bought you Homecoming for Christmas, by the way. Have you watched it?
I have indeed.
Did you love it all over again?
Yes, of course.
I think it's on. Is it on Sky Cinema now?
I don't know. Might be.
But
it's the kind of film that I can watch over and over again, but I tend to put it on in the background as well.
Have you noticed that the time doesn't work out on that movie?
What?
Have you never noticed this? Right. Okay. So there's a whole thing with.
You're going to ruin this film for me now.
It's just a weird thing. We're like, how have you allowed that to slip through and no one noticed? Right. So the movie opens with the Battle of New York.
Yeah.
It opens in the aftermath of like Stark Tower.
Yeah.
That's 2012. Right, that's the year 2012. We know this because Civil War established that the Marvel movies happen in the actual year that they're actually released. In most cases, there are exceptions. Incredible Hulk, for instance, doesn't. Anyway, it then says 8 years later.
Oh.
Yeah, it says 8 years later, and it's set now.
Oh.
It's set now, but it's 8 years later. So Spider-Man: Homecoming takes place in 2020. So yeah. Well, actually, 2020, and then another 6 months as well. So because they do Civil War and then they flash, the whole thing. Anyway, it doesn't match up. That's the whole thing.
Well, I forgive them.
Yeah, weird thing, isn't it? Like, how did that slip through? But yeah. So we've debunked the Tom Holland thing, or just said it's nonsense.
What about Finn Wolfhard? So I think we all predicted that he was going places, but apparently he is set to join the Goldfinch.
Which I know very little about, but I do know it's a Warner Brothers movie, and Warner Brothers did It, so it kind of makes sense.
It's I don't know much about it. I know it's based on a novel. I think it's got the Baby Driver guy in it.
Oh, Ansel Elgort.
Yeah, which I've still not seen Baby Driver, but based on Diversion, whatever it's called.
Divergent.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I really don't like him. I find him really annoying. And the one with the is it Strange? The cancer movie.
The
Strange in the Stars.
Or... Fault in Our Stars.
Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm like an old woman. Sorry. Anyway, I know he's in this Goldfinch thing.
Oh, okay. Well, I like Finn Wolfhard. I thought he was, for the first like half hour of It, he was driving me insane. I thought it was terrible.
Me too.
But he did get better though.
Yeah,
so,
he definitely did. He sort of suddenly had a character rather than just being an annoying, kind of like rude. Child.
Do you know what he was? He was basically the Will Wheaton of that movie.
Will Wheaton.
So we need to talk about Keira Knightley for a second. That's not something I say often, to be honest. But
must we?
Have you heard the comment she's made?
No.
Right, brace yourself.
Oh man, okay.
I'm about to tell you something that your eyebrows are going to leap off your head. Right. Keira Knightley, who incidentally was part of the first press junket I ever did.
I remember.
Do you remember? She was part of the Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit press junket. And I remember during a press conference Q&A, she specifically said the reason she took on that movie is because actually she never really does anything set in the present day, so she wanted to do something different. I think, okay, fair enough. It's kind of a witty answer, actually. Because acknowledging the fact that she always seems to appear in period pieces. She's now done an interview.
Yeah.
In which she explains why she keeps doing period pieces.
And it is because...
Right. I don't really do films set in the modern day because the female characters nearly always get raped. Yeah, that look on your face, that was mine as well.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. So let me just repeat that. I don't really do films set in the modern day because the female characters nearly always get raped. Okay.
For example?
Yeah, she doesn't seem to actually specifically come up with an example.
What on earth is she on about?
She says something. I'm suddenly being sent scripts with present-day women who aren't raped in the first 5 pages and aren't simply there to be the loving girlfriend or wife.
Did you know if she'd have talked about, they're always just the bloody loving girlfriend or wife, I'd have been like, okay,
yeah,
fine.
I understand that. That's a perfectly valid reason.
Yeah, it's a real thing, but...
Yeah, that's a real
answers on a postcard with that one.
Yeah, that's a real sweep. The thing is, the whole statement is articulate, but like clearly just off the reservation. You see, it's the kind of thing where you think, did you do that interview by like instant messenger after having a few drinks?
Yeah, I feel like she's got one of these like social media gurus who's like, early 20s. Paid too much, and they've gone, you need to be relevant, you need to get something out there.
Mention rape, that's usually a hot button
talk
topic.
about rape, and you're going to be, and to be fair, we're talking about her, so...
Well, yes, to be fair, but only because it's just so bonkers. I mean, really? I mean, I don't want to talk about Eliza Dushku, because that upset me profoundly this week.
Is this the
I know
the stuntman? I want to say
the stuntman on True Lies, which is although weird like aside about that. Apparently, she was 12 in that movie.
Yeah,
you looked like you looked about 18, which is bizarre because you see her on the motorbike at one point. You're like, I was convinced she was like late high school age. In that
it's
movie.
all just ridiculously upsetting.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing.
So they've cast Ivan Drago's son in Creed 2. No,
good.
Do you know why this is cool? Or
no, I mean Creed. Remind me, the Rocky spin-off thing,
starring Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Creed. Yeah,
sure.
Son of Apollo Creed.
Sure.
It was a great movie. It was absolutely terrific. For some reason, Stephen Merchant turned up to the press show.
Because he's everywhere.
I was shocked to find out he was good friends with James King and Mark Kermode, which I had absolutely no idea about. He was like, they were like old pals. It was weird. I presume just because they've interviewed him for something. But okay, the reason this is cool is because Rocky IV is probably the greatest movie of all time.
Okay.
I mean, it's not actually, but
probably.
It's not actually, but in most men's minds, it is. I mean, it's the best of the Rocky movies. It's it's hands down the Rocky movie you put on when you want to watch a Rocky movie.
It's not often, I'll be honest.
Well, if someone asked me, and actually this did happen, someone asked me to describe the 80s and put like what the 80s, what they were like, and I literally just found a video from Rocky IV. Went that's the 80s right there. It was America in the 80s. That's what I was asking. Describe America in the 80s. And I just went this scene from Rocky IV in which James Brown turns up and sings "Living in America," whilst Carl Weathers dances around in stars and striped shorts. Is amazing to me, whilst Dolph Lundgren looks on with his weird, what will become the Gary Barlow haircut from 1993. It's
that is true.
Yeah, it's the most bizarre thing. The thing is that they're now, the whole thing about Rocky IV is obviously that's where Apollo Creed died. And yeah. This never comes up in Creed, strangely, because Rocky IV is kind of so far-fetched next to the rest of the Rocky series. They go out of their way not to mention precisely who killed Apollo Creed in Creed. So they have, he died in the ring, blah, blah. They don't mention the fact that it was Ivan Drago, the Russian super soldier, who did it. The steroid-enhanced communist soldier. They don't mention that.
Well, we live in a different time.
Yeah. The thing is, though, they're now going to have to because, the villain of Creed 2 is apparently Ivan Drago's son.
Well, maybe he's also the Flash and he's gone back in time.
Yeah, entirely possible.
The timeline.
So the man in question is this gentleman. He's very ripped. He's very, as the ladies say, he's cut. He's pretty cut.
He's cut.
And he's a Romanian boxer, Florian Munteanu. I mean, okay. Apparently, he goes by the name Big Nasty.
As long as it's not Big Nasty, because that's someone else.
6'4", weighing 245 pounds.
Sounds good to me.
I mean, wow. I don't know. It's been written by Stallone again, and he's co-written it with the creator of the Luke Cage series.
Well, I look forward to not seeing it, I'll be honest.
Oh, man, you got to watch Creed. Creed is so good.
I might get around to it. I know my other half wants to watch it. Or maybe he's already watched it. I don't know.
I don't know, actually. He's never mentioned it to me.
There's 2 sequels, potential sequels I want to talk about.
Go on.
Both quite different.
Okay.
Number 1, Edge of Tomorrow, or whatever it's called these days.
Isn't it Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat? I think that's the title of it.
know.
It's Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat, I think.
Sure, I don't know. But apparently we might be getting a sequel, so I'm quite excited about that.
Apparently we are, and apparently it's the premise for it is meant to be amazing. They've not sort of revealed what it is, but they have turned and said the story we've got is fantastic.
That was such an underrated film, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, it totally was.
I don't know. I can't help but feel like it might have been something to do with the fact that they renamed it and named it and changed the name to something else, and people got confused. I don't know, but it's a really good film.
I really liked it.
So that's number 1.
Okay.
Excited about that. Number 2, I think I'm even more excited about.
Yeah.
Another really underrated film.
Go on.
Apparently Enchanted might be getting a sequel.
Right, okay, first of all, total confession, I have never seen Enchanted. I'm sorry. I
just need a moment.
I didn't want to hurt you. I'm sorry. But you put me on the spot. I had to tell you. I've never seen
it's
Enchanted.
you that's suffering and you're the one that's missing out, man.
Okay, I will watch it. I will attempt to watch
It's
it.
really good.
It's like friends of mine who discovered that I'd never seen was it Little Princess?
Oh, no, skip that.
Yeah.
Watch Enchanted. Do you know what? My dad loves it. He'll watch it with you.
Your dad loves anything with a musical theme. Anyway,
That's true.
I can't really speak to... I mean, apparently Enchanted 2 is coming. That's actually something that is going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's the guy that did Step Up and various other musicals, Adam Shankman.
Adam Shankman, yeah. And apparently he's behind it. Enchanted 2 is coming. And apparently Edge of Tomorrow 2, or Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat, or whatever we want to call it, All You Need Is Kill Again, which was a great title. It should never have been changed. Apparently that could potentially be Doug Liman's next film.
Nice.
Which, hey, I'm on board for that.
Why not?
I really love that first one. It was so good.
I want both of those sequels, and I want them now, and I want them made at a cheap budget, so they need to go to the Russians.
The Russians to make it because they can spread a buck.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Hey, did you hear Tom Cruise was filming, that stunt that apparently injured him on Mission Impossible?
Yeah.
Apparently he went and redid it. And he did it outside your old office the other day.
No way.
Yeah, he did it in Blackfriars in London.
Yeah. As soon as I stop working there, that's it.
I know,
all the stars
cool
come
things
out.
happen.
Whatever.
Stallone's hinting that a 4th Expendables movie is on the way, which is not really...
There was a 3rd.
Yes, there was. Which isn't really news, because we already knew that. Let's talk about... Oh, there is a sequel to March of the Penguins coming. Hulu have bought the rights.
A sequel to March again?
I don't know. The Journey Back of the Penguins?
They march back.
March back? Oh, right, this is the one. Right, there is a series spin-off of John Wick coming.
Is there?
Yes, it's called The Continental.
Well, I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Right, wait for it, because you're going to be excited. Mm-hmm. Keanu Reeves is going to be in it.
No!
Yeah. Andy and McShane's going to be in it.
No!
Yeah, and apparently it's about the hotels.
Amazing!
It's about, that the sort of underground sort of world that the hotels seem to be the anchor points
with the
for.
big gold coins.
Yeah, that's why it's called the Continental. Apparently,
of course, that's what the hotel's called.
Yeah,
duh.
but apparently, yeah. So all they need to do now, they need to get Lance Reddick back as the concierge.
Yes,
he needs to be back.
If they can get Keanu Reeves and Ian McShane, surely.
If you can get Keanu Reeves in a TV show, you can damn sure get Lance
Reddick. Has he been on TV before? Has he done a TV show?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I feel like there's so much more openness these days to big movie stars actually being on TV shows, and more of them should do it.
And yet no Black Widow series or Hawkeye series, so go figure. Because someone did, in fact, someone from Sheffield actually did some concept art this week.
Oh, really?
For a Jeremy Renner Hawkeye Netflix series based on the comic books that both Calvin and I adore.
Oh, bless him. I'm not sure Hawkeye's got enough. Hawkeye? Yep,
Hawkeye?
stick with it. Hawkeye?
The Boston version?
That's the one. I'm not sure he's got a big enough fan base. I think
Actually, he does. You'd be surprised. Hawkeye is quite a big cult figure. Yeah. But also, that series is just so fantastic. I don't really want to talk about the Mark Wahlberg thing, because...
I don't know about the Mark Wahlberg thing.
Okay,
I'm going to make
right.
you talk about it.
All right, I'll talk about it. Okay, so All the Money in the World.
As a thing?
The
Is that a
movie.
film?
You know the movie? The one Kevin Spacey was in, they had to reshoot.
Oh, with Christopher
With Christopher Plummer. Right.
Yes.
They filmed that for 10 days over Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Right. 10 days over Thanksgiving. And the whole story behind it, as far as we were told, we actually ran this story, incidentally. The story was they had done, the returning actors did it for free.
Oh, I
You
do
know the story now.
Michelle Williams. Yep.
Right. Michelle Williams did it for scale, which is $80 a day.
What does that mean?
Right. It's kind of
Just a sort of
a day rate that you give to like an extra,
Okay.
which is $80 a day. So she got $800 for it.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Wahlberg, it now transpires, not only used the opportunity to secretly negotiate for $1.5 million to return for 10 days of work. Not only did he do that, he used these negotiations and his position of authority. He actually threatened that unless they paid him this, he would not sign off on the hiring of Christopher Plummer.
What?
Yeah, because obviously he has a production credit on it. So he had a say in whether or not Christopher Plummer could take part in the film.
So I didn't know. I knew that he got this 1.5 million. I didn't know that other stuff.
This is the thing. Right, okay. For 2 days, this story was out there in the world. And everyone went nuts, that he's been this deceitful and sleazy and pay difference, men and women, that old and still very accurate argument. Right. After 2 days, Mark Wahlberg donated $1.5 million
Yeah, of course he
to
did.
the Me Too. Is it the Me Too?
Me Too, yeah.
Charity?
Or Time's Up, is it?
Time's Up, sorry. Time's Up in Michelle Williams' name.
Yeah, I found that really weird.
And you kind of... What?
Did you see her statement, her kind of response?
I didn't see her response, no.
I can't remember exactly what it said, but and I was possibly projecting my own feelings onto it, but I can't help but feel she was kind of like, You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I know what my statement would have been, and what I think she should have done.
What?
I think she should have let him do that, and I think she should have then made a statement and said, I've donated $800 to Time's Up in Mark Wahlberg's name. I think she should have done that. Mark Wahlberg's net worth last year, I looked this up, I'm sure it's 60 million.
Oh.
Mark Wahlberg, I think, made 60 million last year.
You need to go work in Russia. Get paid less.
62.5, I think, was something like that.
Jeez.
And you actually twisted you manipulated and twisted and extorted your position for $1.5 million, you scumbag. And I know a surprising number of people who've turned around and all said the same thing, which is that's really put me off Mark Wahlberg, like, for life now.
Yeah, because I did kind of like him before. I'm not going to say I was a big fan, but I did kind of like him before. But now,
yeah, now I'm. Put it this way, now you can genuinely say, "Wow, the Entourage movie is seriously not the worst thing you've done." Okay, but kind of an academic story. If you go into the Mark Wahlberg story, wow. But yeah, I mean, let's not forget he did have his funky bunch.
That's true.
Yeah, so there's that. But, so yeah, that's the Mark Wahlberg story.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, really. Do we have anything more upbeat that we can move to?
Apparently New Mutants got delayed because Fox wanted to make it scarier and cash in on the fame of It.
What?
Yeah, you know this X-Men horror movie that they're putting out?
Oh, I didn't realise it was meant to be...
It's meant to be like a teen horror movie, but apparently they want to appeal to, like, the It crowd.
Okay.
So, yeah, so there's that.
So they need to rethink it?
Well, they delayed it by, like, a year. It's like Deadpool 2 has got, like, scheduled to itself today. Here's one you'll love. Right, speaking of, because he was in the post, Bob Odenkirk, so, Better Call Saul.
Yep.
He's going to direct and is he directing and starring in it? I think. Hang on, I'm trying to remember if he's directing it, producing and starring in a movie. Oh, there you go. He's going to develop, produce, and star in. That's it. Okay, there we are. A movie called Nobody, and it's apparently going to be a full-blown action flick.
Okay.
Starring Saul from Better Call Saul. This is a thing that's happening. And get this, it comes from, like, the writer of John Wick.
Okay.
So that's something that no one predicted. Okay.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
No, me neither. But I feel like it's bonkers.
I need to reflect on that one.
Yeah, I feel like it's bonkers enough to work. But sure, I guess. this. You know?
Why not?
It's like, I've heard Stranger Things, but, you know, that's fine. Did you hear about Proud Mary?
I don't think I did.
Right, do you know about this film?
No.
Right.
I don't think so, anyway.
When we're finished up, watch the trailer for Proud Mary. It's an action movie starring Taraji P. Henson.
Okay.
And I love Taraji P. Henson. I've been a fan of hers for many years now. And I was a big fan of Person of Interest, that series. You remember me ranting on about that show.
I do.
And she's in the first 3 series. She's absolutely terrific in what is already a terrific TV series. She's done this. It looks like a sort of blaxploitation action film.
Okay.
And the trailer is just set to the Tina Turner song.
Yeah.
You know, big wheel keep on turning. Anyway, and it looks.
I really was hoping for a full rendition then, but go on.
Rolling. I'm not your dad. The trailer is spectacular, and obviously this film has something of a waiting audience. Given, you know, it's Taraji P. Henson. She's very high profile. She's on Empire, the series.
Yeah.
You know, there was Hidden Figures the last year as well. You know, that rose her star somewhat higher, and there was a large audience in the US waiting for this. Obviously, not shocked, not to anyone's surprise. A large black audience was waiting for this.
Yeah.
The movie came out last week in the US.
Ah.
And you've not heard of it, so that kind of proves the point. Sony have effectively buried this film.
Why?
It's out. It's in cinemas. They did no press shows. They cancelled Thursday night screenings. I can't seem to find a UK release date for it.
How strange.
Yeah. Can't figure that out. Reviews are now out, and they're not bad. I mean, the film apparently isn't anything amazing, but it's not a bad movie at all. Apparently, it's just less of a blaxploitation film than you think it is.
Okay.
You know, based on the marketing. But yeah, so it's a weird story. Like, why would they do that?
How odd.
But yeah, I don't know. Strange world, eh?
Apparently, Ben Wheatley is at it again.
Wheatley.
He's
at it
doing some
again.
sort of creature feature.
Oh, is it? I'm trying to remember what he's doing a secret movie at the minute.
Yeah.
And is it Colin My Anus, I think it's called.
Oh, really?
That's what he's claimed. He put a picture of the clapperboard on Instagram, and he's apparently he's asserting that this is the actual title. It's called Colin My Anus.
Colin Uranus.
Colin Uranus. Sorry. And yeah, just what the hell? He was supposed to be doing that Freak Shift with Alicia Vikander and Armie Hammer.
Yeah.
But he was supposed to be filming that last summer. Nobody's seen anything to indicate that he actually filmed it.
Huh.
It just seemed to not happen. It was meant to be his next thing after Free Fire, but it just doesn't seem to have happened.
That's strange.
Armie Hammer's been swanning around promoting, Call Me By Your Name. Alicia Vikander's been off, being Lara Croft and marrying Magneto, and no one knows if this movie has actually been made.
Well, he does like to keep people on their toes, unless you go and watch The Kill List, in which case you'll fall asleep.
Yeah. Well, she did keep me on my toes, but only because I was just tense in agony that I was sitting through this demonstrable piece of crap. But,
itching to get out of there.
Oh, and less said about a field in England, the better. Yeah, we get it. You're edgy. Ugh.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Sightseers, fine. Sightseers pretty good. High Rise, I genuinely loved. Free Fire, terrific. Really like Free Fire.
That's all right.
But it's worth noting that, isn't it interesting how when Ben Wheatley dips into dark comedic satire, his work suddenly gets so much more enjoyable. Yeah, and when he drops it, he sucks. So,
Go figure.
Go figure, eh? Yeah, funny that one. Wheatley.
Ben Wheatley.
Ben Wheatley. So let's see. I mean, not really film news, but Scoot McNairy is in season 3 of True Detective. I mean,
I don't even know who the guy is, but I just know his name because Scoot McNairy is one of the greatest names ever.
Do you remember Batman v Superman?
Unfortunately.
You know that storyline that's there for no reason about the guy who gets crippled and gets in a wheelchair and then blows up the US House of Congress?
Yeah.
House of Congress? Yeah, that's Scoot McNairy.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Bob,
Told Scoot.
Solve that one for you. Let's have a look what else is going on. Oh, God. Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin are teaming up for a Sci-Fi Channel series. Apparently, there's talk about doing an animated film adaptation of Superman Red Son. Which,
Isn't there also meant to be an animated Suicide Squad?
yes, that's coming.
Why?
The voice cast was unveiled recently. Because money, I guess. There already was an animated Suicide Squad film.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, it was called Batman Assault on Arkham, I think it was. Weirdly, it was a Suicide Squad movie, but they had to hinge the Batman brand on it because ... Warner Brothers, and they don't seem to be able to, they couldn't open a mailbox without making it about Batman.
It'd be interesting to see if in this animated version of Suicide Squad they've gone for the Jared Leto Joker
Oh, God.
or not.
I hate that character.
Yeah, me too.
Apparently, according to this list of film news, apparently the Cyborg solo movie is still happening.
I'd rather watch The Flash than a Cyborg, but
it's
he
like-
was such a non-character.
I was like, no, it's really not happening. It's really not going to happen. Don't be stupid. It's not actually happening.
How boring.
Nobody cares.
No, I really don't care.
Yeah, nobody cares. Apparently, DiCaprio's in talks for that Tarantino Manson family movie.
I feel like you could take that statement that you just said and play it at any time and it would have still been true.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we all forget DiCaprio was in a Tarantino movie, and we all seem to forget this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, that actually does make things.
They always seem to be talking about stuff.
It's very true.
Oh, interesting. You know how I was saying earlier that I often get confused between Insidious and Sinister?
Oh, yes. Yes, how did I remember this? Yeah, apparently they're going to be like a shared cinematic universe.
Yeah.
They're going to cross over and gumph.
To bore us to death together.
Yeah, because that's how horror movies work. We just cross them over. I mean, Freddy versus Jason did such an amazing job of that.
Yo, Freddy!
I'll tell you what, though, right? The original script for Freddy versus Jason is kind of easily available online.
Yeah.
The original script for that movie is amazing.
Really?
It's genuinely amazing.
Really?
The whole shtick was that Freddy, in the first version, I think is it written by like Brannon Braga, someone from Star Trek wrote it. I think it's like two of the writers of Star Trek of like the good years of Star Trek wrote this movie, and the idea is Freddy sort of pushes his way back into the real world, and the human characters have to rely on Jason to take him down. And the whole thing that sort of sets it all up is Freddy has the ability, when he's in the real world, to actually manifest nightmares.
Oh.
And that there is a scene that takes place in a shopping mall in which Freddy and Jason face off.
Yeah.
In I think it's like the big third act fight. And the shopping mall has a multiplex cinema. Complete with a cardboard standee for Jason X, which Freddy brings to life so Jason can fight Jason X. That is actually a thing that is in the original script of Freddy vs. Jason.
How wonderfully ridiculous.
It's insane, isn't it? I would have given anything to see that movie. That is up there with Tron Ascension or Snowpiercer 2 as something I would pay good money to see.
Aww.
But we never get Snowpiercer 2, don't we? We're getting a TV series, though.
You're just going to have to keep it like when you read a book and you just play it over in your mind.
I know.
Your own pictures.
At least the abandoned Stargate 2 and 3 did become novels, so we can actually kind of see what that would have been like, but still.
Yeah, rather you than me.
I always forget you're not a Stargate fan, sorry.
I'm a fan of James Spader.
As am I. I suspect for different reasons. But
I'm sure, but not a fan of Stargate.
No.
There you go.
That's one of the few times he ever played a good guy, that's why.
Oh, that's true.
It's true. He never played like a hero ever, and he is sort of a weedy, reluctant hero in that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
good point.
There's that. He didn't do it. He has done it a few times, but it's just very rare. He always plays like a sleazy villain, or I mean, literally, he's on telly right now playing a scumbag villain kind of a character. So
that's true.
But yeah, I need to carry on with that series.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, very true.
You know, interesting. I know we were talking about various kind of misconduct and stuff. You can't help but talk about misconduct that's going on in Hollywood or things being reported. Interestingly enough, apparently TJ Miller is still going to be in the Deadpool sequel.
Yes, I heard this. I can't help but think we're missing out on an obvious chance for a cash-in, female-driven action movie called Miss conduct, in which, you know,
it's too on the nose.
in which a vengeful abused former actress seeks out and takes revenge on, you know, sexually abusive men.
I feel, wasn't that called Species? Or I Spit on Your Grave? Or
actually right.
The Skin I Live in. No, what was it? Not The Skin I Live In. What was the one with you know, that plays Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. That weird alien.
Oh, under the skin, under
my skin, or under her skin, or something. I feel.
Yeah, that basically was that plot. Yeah, God, that movie sucked.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
That movie sucked so hard. But still. By the way, I mean, we were talking earlier about the Black Panther trailer, because you absolutely love that trailer. It is a great trailer.
It's the most amazing trailer.
I will say, though, I mean, I meant to sort of follow up that conversation by saying, actually, the Infinity War trailer,
yeah,
I keep watching it.
Do you know, I still haven't... I think I've watched it twice. I need to watch it more times.
Oh, I
get too excited when I watch it.
I put it on Apple Trailers, and I just blare the surround sound, because that music, the way the music swells on the Avengers logo, I love it so much. That movie is going to be amazing.
I can't wait.
But it came out this week that, you know, that shot of the Avengers running towards camera, and they're clearly in Wakanda.
Yeah.
And I think in the shot are Hulk, Cap, Black Widow, Falcon's in there, Bucky's in it as well. Apparently, that scene, the Battle of Wakanda, contains 40 superheroes.
Wow!
There are 70-something Marvel characters in the movie, but there are 40 superheroes in that scene.
Name them. Go.
I can't figure out where they found 40, let alone 70.
40?
Unless they're literally enlisted, unless they haven't revealed it yet, and literally every character from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to turn up, which I'd be totally cool with, because that absolutely needs to happen. You know, Agent S.H.I.E.L.D. turns up, the Runaways turn up, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, they all turn up.
Oh, that would be good. Well, maybe not Iron Fist.
Maybe not Iron Fist because he sucks, but yeah. Best part of Defenders is how they keep punching Iron Fist and telling him he sucks.
True. That's
literally the best part of the Defenders.
I'm trying to figure out, like, how they could possibly come up with 40. Like, maybe 40 is too excessive.
I really think that's going to be it. That's the big reveal. I think they're actually going to just say, right, okay, the TV stuff counts now because they're in Infinity War. And I think that's going to be it.
What a moment.
I can't think who else they could possibly be. What else did Marvel do on TV now? Oh, like John Bernthal's going to turn up as the Punisher or something.
Oh God!
Like, you know,
the Punisher is the best of those Netflix Marvel series.
It's awesome,
by
isn't it?
a million miles.
How good is Ben Barnes in that series?
Really,
he's really good, isn't he? There's a weird thing, okay, with that him in that series, where I was so engrossed in that series. I watched, is it 13 episodes long? It's 13 episodes long, isn't it?
Something like that. 13, 14.
So let's call it 13 hours of The Punisher.
Yeah.
I sat through 13 hours of The Punisher, so engrossed by it that until the very end, I somehow hadn't noticed the name of Ben Barnes' character, and thus where that character will inevitably go.
I don't know what you're on about.
I will explain to you when we're not recording.
Okay.
But yeah, because...
Is he British in real life,
yes,
Ben
he's
Barnes?
British.
He is. I thought so.
Well, because he was Dorian Gray, wasn't he?
Oh, of course he was.
Prince Caspian.
Of course he was.
But yeah, I'll explain that Punisher thing to you, but that's how good that series is, that I clearly know where that character goes.
Amazing.
And I was just so engrossed by it that I hadn't even considered it was that character, that he had that character's name. And it was terrific. Dominic West played the same character in Punisher Warzone, if you want me to go very specific, go kind of more specific with it.
No, you're going to have to fill me in after.
I will fill you in. But I think for now, that's kind of everything, really, isn't it?
I don't know. I can't think of anything else.
I think I'm all tapped out. I'm absolutely out of juice.
I wonder who we could pass over to.
If only
sign us off.
If only there was a man with a cage, almost a moment off cage.
I am a bad